everyone, my name is Emily Musamacy from the Smithtown Library. Today I will be discussing some popular and noteworthy fiction books that have been recently released, as well as some upcoming titles to keep an eye out for. During this time of uncertainty, it is nice to find an escape in books. You can download all of these titles on Libby or Hoopla in an ebook and or audiobook format. Alright, so let's get started. First, we have Big Lies in a Small Town by New York Times bestselling author DIANE Chamberlain. You may know her for The Silent Sister and more recently The Dream Daughter. If you have an interest in art and enjoy a little mystery, then this is definitely a book for you. It follows two artists working on the same mural 78 years apart in a small town in North Carolina. In 1940, Anna Dale begins work on a mural that is to be displayed in the local post office. But things do not go as planned because in the year 2018, lost soul Morgan Christopher is given the opportunity to restore Anna's mural and finds a depiction of madness, violence, and confusion. Along with Morgan, readers will try to piece together the clues the mural provides and figure out what life was really like for Anna Dale. I myself am unfamiliar with art techniques, especially in terms of art restoration. This well-researched novel opened my eyes to the complexity of the art world while giving me characters to root for and of course some to be suspicious of. DIANE Chamberlain keeps you guessing while being informative, a definite win-win in my opinion. This book was published on January 14th, 2020. Next up, we have Truths I Never Told You by Kelly Rimmer. Kelly most recently wrote the popular historical fiction title The Things We Cannot Say. But in this poignant family drama, we meet Beth Walsh, who begins to clean out her family home after her father moves to a care facility due to his worsening dementia. When she discovers her late mother's journal, Beth calls into question everything she believed about her family. This book brings to light the societal pressures women face, particularly when it comes to motherhood and postpartum depression. Although Beth barely knew her mother, she comes to realize the bond that all women share can bridge numerous generations. Because of the relevant topic, as well as the comparisons between the two time periods, I would definitely recommend this book for your next book club meeting, especially one that is primarily made up of women. I think that all members would enjoy it, and it would give you plenty to discuss. This book was published on April 14th, 2020. Changing gears a bit, I want to highlight a new psychological thriller called The Other Misses. New York Times bestselling author Mary KUBICA has been keeping mystery and suspense readers enthralled for years, and her most recent book does not disappoint. When the book opens, we meet married couple Sadie and Will Faust, and we quickly realize their marriage is on rocky ground. The family has just moved from Chicago to Maine, taking in Will's niece after his sister passes away due to suicide. As they are learning how to adjust to life in a small town, their neighbor is found dead in her home. Obviously shaken, Sadie attempts to find out what happened, while uncovering secrets about her husband, her family, and even herself. I have read my fair share of psychological thrillers, and this book is a good addition to the genre. Just when you think you may have all the characters figured out, KUBICA adds some twists and surprises that can make even some slow parts all worth it in the end. This book was published on February 18th, 2020. This next thriller has been getting a lot of buzz before its May release date. It is called The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Readers are immediately swept into the drama and mystery as we meet guests gathering for a wedding celebration on the Irish coast. All seems perfect on the remote island until someone turns up dead. There are many characters as well as some shifting points of view. Fans of Agatha Christie will love this modern whodunit type novel. Since it will not be published for another couple of weeks, you may want to check out Foley's previous mystery called The Hunting Party, but be sure to reserve the guest list today. It will be published on May 5th, 2020. Now let's look at some noteworthy historical fiction books that have been released in the past month or so. What used to be a predominantly World War II focused genre, historical fiction authors seem to be shifting gears and looking at the 1910s to 1950s and the world of Hollywood glamour. In The Girl in White Gloves, author KERRI imagines what life was like for icon Grace Kelly as she navigates Hollywood, adjusts to royal life, and her less than perfect marriage. Marr's well-researched novel reads like a biography and includes many true experiences, while she does take some liberties and expands upon the way that Grace Kelly must have been feeling. Readers come to see the harsh reality that there is not always happiness beneath the outward appearances of poise, grace, and success. This book has been recommended in many book discussion circles, particularly because it allows readers to attempt to compare Grace Kelly to modern-day Meghan Markle, while also opening the discussion to royal life in general. I think this book is perfect for historical fiction as well as general fiction fans looking for something just a little different. It was published on February 25th, 2020. For those that enjoy a more traditional historical fiction book, I recommend The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. Many of you may recognize this author because of her bestseller, Before We Were Yours. The Book of Lost Friends was inspired by real lost friend advertisements that were printed in newspapers after the Civil War. Freed slaves would write in search of their loved ones and family members who may have been sold or escaped to the North before the war. In Louisiana, 1875, we meet three women, each coming from different walks of life as they come together looking for a different aspect of their lives before the war. The one thing they all have in common is hope. Fast forward to 1987, and we meet new teacher Benedita Silva. Desperate for a job so she could begin to pay off her student debt, Benedita finds herself in the poor and rural town of Augustin, Louisiana. While here, she discovers a journal written by three women of the Civil War era. What she discovers could change everything. This book not only captures the contrasting time periods, but also the true nature of humanity. I think it will be just as popular, if not more popular, than Before We Were Yours. It was published on April 7th, 2020. Fans of contemporary romance will love Josie Silver's latest, The Two Lives of Lydia Bird. Lydia and Freddie have been together for over a decade, but when tragedy strikes, Lydia is forced to face the world without Freddie by her side. Then the unexplainable happens. Lydia is given the opportunity to choose between two worlds, one of which will bring Freddie back to her. The question is, what is truly meant to be, and is she changing her fate? This poignant love story is one of growth and filled with heartwarming moments that we all need right now. If you enjoy books by Taylor Jenkins Reid or Kristen Harmel, Josie Silver is another author to add to the list. This book was published on March 3rd, 2020. Last but not least, those that enjoy science fiction and fantasy may also like Veronica Roth's Chosen Ones. Veronica Roth wrote the popular teen series Divergent, but this is her first adult novel. It follows 5 ordinary heroes that saved the world from the Dark One while they were all teenagers. 10 years later, the world is at peace, but this group is still haunted by what once was, and come to find their battle with the Dark One is not yet over. While revisiting some themes present in her teen books, Roth appeals to an older audience as she tackles topics such as grief, mental health issues, and addiction. This is the first book in a planned series, so be prepared for a cliffhanger. A New York Times review states, "The first half of the story tantalizingly dangles other questions. What it means to have been a chosen one, what it means to be a hero after the battle is over, or when you don't measure up to your own idea of what that should be, how you pick up your pieces and go onward." This book was published on April 7th, 2020. Keep an eye out for some titles set to come out over the next couple of months. It looks like we are going to have some great summer reads to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We can't wait to see you in our building soon, but until then, stay well and continue to visit the library's website at www.smithlib.org for more programs and resources.